Oh,
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
magandang
morning.
Sabado.
Oo.
Diba? Good morning.
Good day wherever you are in the world.
Yes. Okay, tuloy natin ang ating last week's topic, di ba?
Oo.
Ang ating kabataan at ang kinabukasan. We had a lot to say last time, pero parang bitin pa kasi.
Kasama ba tayo sa kabataan at kinabukasan? Kasi, alam mo, I saw this short video and the Pope was talking about connection between the young and the old, sabi niya gano'n. Tapos, it was in a parang service, he was talking to an audience. Tapos biglang merong maliit na bata, mga 6 years old, biglang tumakbo, papunta sa kanya, at tumayo doon sa harap niya, as in, malapit na malapit. Tapos, nakatingin lang sa kanya gano'n. Tapos, sabi ni Pope sa kanya, "What's your name?" Sabi sa kanya gano'n. "Why are you here?" Sabi ni Pope, no? So, parang, sabi niya, "It's good because we're talking today about the old and the young." Sabi niya gano'n. And that there must be a connection between the young and the old, no? So, nakakatuwa naman kasi makita mo yung openness ng Pope.
Oh, yes.
To deal with this young person. And the young person naman, willing just to listen to the Pope and be close to him. So parang walang sama ng loob o hindi na inis yung Pope. Uy, sasalita ako dito. Umalis ka kaya, So it was very nice relationship.
It's a person to person immediately.
Yes.
Kasi,
As nature has intended, di ba?
Oo.
Ganun naman, tingnan yung ating bamboo at the back. Ito, ilang generations yan, magkakakumpul sila. They support each other. So, ganin din ang ating youth. The older will support the younger so that the younger can grow strong and tall.
At saka meron, di ba kayong tinatawag dyan sa mga bamboo, may si grandmother pa.
oh, may
Yun nga
grandma.
ibang
Mga
generation.
Iba-ibang generation.
Grandmother ang tawag nila dun sa older poles,
Yes.
no? Hindi ba?
Para
At saka
sila yung-
mga bagong sibol na mga yung kabataan.
Yes.
Tsaka yung older poles, parang, okay,
Guide, no?
guides them
Oo.
to make them stronger.
Yes.
There are many times kasi, even in the plant life or trees, napapansin natin sa forest na they help nurture one another.
Yes. So,
It's not like one type of tree or another generation is shooing away. There's a technique I do, and I saw I tell the gardeners, for example, this particular tree, ang dami niyang wildlings,
Oo, may babies na
babies
siya.
na sa palibot.
Oo.
I said, every time you transfer those wildlings to a bag, smaller bag, keep them in the same location next to their mom.
Yes. Kasi habang lumalaki siya, napoprotektahan siya ng bigger tree. Tapos nabibigyan din siya ng nutrients.
Yan ang nanay nila nasa palibot Sabi ko, sige, dyan lang sila. Kung saan nyo sila nakuha, pabayaan nyo dyan hanggang lumaki pa ng konti. Tapos,
Feeling at home.
right.
Hindi ba?
Tapos sabi ko, may isang particular puno naman, iba naman yung contribution niya. Sa bagay, most of the trees that we have here, because it's a watershed, yung location nito is a watershed. So most trees are really to hold water on the ground. They're deep-rooted.
Yes.
Now, what happened is, if you share those seedlings to different mother trees of a species, makikita nyo, same, lumalaki sila na napakaganda. Walang mga hindrance, walang mga sagabal sa kanilang growth.
Yes. So as we can see, sa tao naman, ganun din, di ba? A child who grows up within a compound or a village where everybody is supporting, helping, adding this or that, whatever they know, they give to the child also, di ba? So yung bata, lalaki siya ng malusog and well-rounded kasi maraming tumutulong sa kanya.
Nag-share yung skill level at saka maturity of a community.
Yes.
Helps reinforce the younger generation.
Yes.
And just like what I heard previously, laging nababanggit ni Sir Toby, yung term na nursing trees,
Yes.
which is actually sa society, meron din nursing parents,
Yes.
nursing
Or right,
grandparents.
or in another way is in nature, nature, nurture.
Yes, very
So,
close to
in a
each other
community,
talaga.
You nurture.
Oo.
Kasi minsan pag sinabing nursing,
Parang female ano lang siya.
female.
Akala ko sa
Okay.
hospital.
Hindi ba? No, nurturing.
Oo.
So it's a broader word to
Yes.
describe it because in society of people, a nurturing society protects every generation, every child that's born,
Yes.
every elderly that's ready to leave is a concern because, or it's completely, it is about the nurturing nature of individuals because by nature, which we cannot take out, hindi natin pwede alisin sa sarili natin. Lahat tayo have a serving nature.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, part of our
That's inherent.
nature.
That's inherent to
That's
us.
what will make us happy.
If you
when
want to
we
be
do
happy,
that.
you need to render service. One of the best services that we can do. Let's say we become mature due to our experiences, wisdom, and our morals and values, and the guidelines, the guidance that we provide. And sometimes it's not merely to speak about it or to tell the child ganito ganito, but actually it's the elders can show a model,
Yeah, can be the model.
can be
even.
the model itself for the young to see. That's the so important role of elders.
Yes.
Actually, there's really that, it's a strong connection talaga when you're talking about connection with the old and the young. Kasi even the young, when grandfather is getting older, the young, they like to help grandpa, di ba? They'll give him maybe his slippers or aakayin nila. So it's a give and take between the two generations. Actually very strong bond ng grandparents and the grandchildren now. Of course, even if the parents are there, iba pa rin yung relationships with the uncles, the aunties, the grandparents, the cousins, no? All of these come into play in the
So,
growth
kailangan may
of a
respect
child.
din yung the older people for the younger, that they are really a different lifestyle or mga ibang ways.
Yes.
But the same way, pati yung mga young rin, may respect for the older generation.
Yes.
Yung
Sana.
kumbaga, yung wag naman baliwalain si lolo or si mga magulang, yung ganun. But to have that appreciation also of what you can learn from the people who have something to share with
Yes.
you.
That thing is, you mentioned respect, no? Kasi yesterday I was talking to someone who was telling me, she just brought her child to school kasi nag-umpisa na sa ibang schools, no? Kindergarten lang yung bata. So, syempre, first time niya sa school, so kinausap mo na yung parent, yung teacher. But she told me, I was shocked when I was in the school because there was one child running away from the classroom and the teacher was running after the child. And a child was telling the teacher, "You shut up! I don't want to hear you. I'm going home." So I was like, wow, nagulat siya, no? So this respect nga, kailangan umpisa pa lang, maaga
Reinforcing
pa
it.
lang, ituro natin sa
reinforce.
bata. Oo, so they learn,
Because
diba?
when you talk about values, it remains, it doesn't change. Respect, alam mo,
And that's what's gonna make them
equality,
successful in
yung mga
life.
ganyan,
diba?
no matter at what stage, young
Oo.
and elder, those things remains, yung values, and the values formation for a young child is so crucial.
Yes. Kaya
And
huwag natin sila i-spoil.
it carries you for a whole lifetime.
Yes. Makikita natin even in society or in the workplace. Kasi our youth, we're educating them, di ba? Hoping they have a job or at least their own business. You can see in business now, yung mga tao who have, yung magaganda ang asal nila. They are respectful for one thing, and they're cooperative, they're considerate. Yung mga yan ang nagiging successful eh. Kasi minsan kahit you may not be as educated as another person in the company, but the people who run the company, syempre na gusto nila yung maganda ang asal.
Oo. Somebody who
Oo.
has respect for the other team members.
Yes.
Somebody who has good ethical, work values then and
Yes,
everything.
good working
Definitely.
relationships are important.
Kaya nga may HR supposed to be.
Oo.
In every company may HR and activities that they do. A lot of things take place during breaks, di ba, they have R&Rs and
Yes.
ano yan, they're so crucial.
At saka
But
saan
in
mo
the
ba naman-
beginning, it's really, sa home mo makukuha yan
Kasi
eh.
sa mo ba madadampot yung mga sabihin nating values, hindi
Ayun
ba?
na nga.
Alam mo naman
Oo.
from Netflix or dun sa
Oo.
gaming, mga ganun-ganun. Wala naman tayong madadampot na ganun.
Talagang
di ba?
sa tahanan niya nag-uumpisa. Doon
Oo.
natin matatanim yan in their character,
Oo.
no? Doon natin ma-reinforce. Para pagdating nila sa age na they are already having more social contact, very acceptable sila sa society kasi mabait.
Oo.
Mhm.
Yan ang masarap na mga makasama, hindi ba? Yung nakikita mo, marunong naman yung mga bata magpo o kaya magpasalamat, thank
Yes,
you, or
yes.
excuse me man lang, hindi
Oo.
ba? Those are very
Or
nice.
mag-greet. Kaya i-greet muna natin itong humahaba nating listahan.
Kailangan
Oo.
Good
mag-greet.
morning, Gilbert.
Yes.
Good morning to you. And then, Jen's phone from
Yes. Good to see you all, sabi niya.
Angel Gonzalo. Good morning to you too. Ito, guru yan.
Yes.
Okay, then,
Teacher. Yes, sir. I'm
then
sure
Thomas,
he's
good
going to
morning.
have
Then
a lot of challenges.
Milay, Roya, good
Yes.
morning. Leon, good morning to you too.
Oo.
And the guy
Gemini,
Edison, good morning.
Nilay.
Gemini Rose.
Mhm.
Oo.
And
Yes.
Harry
Have
Yumol.
a blessed Saturday full of grace to all of us. Thank you.
Harry.
Harry,
Oo,
good morning.
Harry, Cesar, and si Saldi Tan.
Okay,
Good
good morning.
morning to you all.
So, you know,
For
Okay,
listening.
so let's continue our
Also,
mga
Aurora
kabataan
Garcia
natin.
is also
Oo.
joining us for today's show.
yes, because, when you talk about nurturing or relationships, right? Kaya nga the model as adults, crucial. And that stability of you as growing up and even in relation to interpersonal relationships. You see, most of that takes place as a young person, a young child. So you start to relate to them based on trust,
Oo.
right? So they learn to be trustworthy. They mean what they say. Now, children, syempre, it's hard kasi playful pa sila. But yet,
Pero that's the best time to teach them.
yes, but
Oo.
you have to understand that the child is yung innocence niya nandyan eh.
Oo.
Now, the key for us, as they become teenager, you work on making sure that the innocence of the person is not lost. So that's where value starts to come in. That reinforces and that gives them that strength
Oo.
to be able to say, you see, eventually, ano yan eh, you're strengthening their wings.
Oo, kasi hindi naman sila
They
palagi
have-
kasama.
they have-
Foundation
They have
of
to fly
life.
on their own.
Oh,
Eh.
yeah.
Right.
Oo.
And hindi yung, mami. I mean, breaks. Oh.
Oh, anak, wag, anak. Dito ka dito.
So, but yet at the same time, the nurturing relationship, a loving relationship, no matter how we know, has its limits in this world. But the very core of relationships, to be successful, is based on love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Oo.
And then
And
there's a skill set also.
it's a skill set.
You
It's
need
about
to learn.
service that you perform. Now, a young child, you engage him in contributing to the sa family setting.
Oo. Parang mature sila or
Oh
what.
yeah,
oo.
they have to be part. You do not. I mean, you will find those who are, as they become adults, they feel even if they have been educated, they have facilities. May sometimes makikita natin ito. There's wealth, di ba?
Yes.
Now, values would carry them in this period of their time of their life kasi on the end of the day, many of these things are just but passing sa buhay sa mundo na to. But yet at the same time, we should not be rejecting what has been given to you. but actually use it to nurture or to make things better. Yeah, not to make things worse for others. Or you use that facility just specifically for you, for yourself. Because if values are being implanted in a person's heart and mind as a young individual, nakikita nila yung balance. It's a balancing act for them. Di ba sa atin as adults, there's a constant balancing act every day that we do. Di ba? Hindi naman palaging ano yan everything is just perfectly smooth. No, there's a lot of bumps, man. Ganyan ang nature ng buhay
Minsan madapa ka pa nga eh.
So yung sinasabi mo na may parang they appreciate yung what's given to them.
Yes.
Oo. Diba halimbawa sa bata, turuan mo na pag meron, halimbawa meron, like simple lang at home, merong pagkain, no? They don't just, they can be taught na, oh, don't eat all of that because that's gonna be shared by everybody.
Yes.
No? They learn to think of others.
Meron hating kapatid.
Yun,
Diba?
mga ganoon ba? Hindi yung akin yan lagi, no? May ang advantage nga kung may mga siblings, di ba?
Right.
Kasi may someone they have to
To
share,
share
with.
it.
Oo.
So it
they
becomes
learn
it
that
becomes an
value.
advantage.
And
Kasi
also, minsan kung walang kapatid, minsan isipin mo yung katulong. Mag-iwan ka para sa kay yaya or dun sa mga helpers, hindi ba? Ibigan mo yung helper ng dessert or share your something
minsan,
with them.
minsan katulad nga papasok
Or the
na yung mga
neighbor.
bata. Papasok na yung mga bata. Kunyari, only child. One way to educate or to raise a child, basta isang anak lang, ano? O sige, may extra pabaon ako. Bigay mo sa best friend mo.
Share.
Bigay mo.
Sharing
O
is a
kaya,
very important
kasi,
skill.
ilapit mo, sige, ma'am, sa teacher, minsan regaluhan mo. Pero, alam mo minsan, baka,
Maging teacher's pet.
Yako.
Hindi, it's a matter of relating, a
Right.
give and a take,
Yeah.
di ba? Kasi
And
yung
then-
teacher is teaching you,
And then
giving you
you will
knowledge.
find
You can give her
one
a gift.
one thing
as
that's so
thanks.
appreciative is when you start to see a child. If you're a parent, they start to do certain things, not being told by parent, and they would say, "This is for my friend.
Oh, spontaneous.
Yeah, this is for my
Oo.
teacher." So after a while, actually, that's the nurturing part of things.
Yes.
That's the beauty. When you see a
Nice,
child
nice.
become this way, then he will experience or she will experience, the child will experience, alam niyo yung nurturing of love in your heart.
Yes, oo.
Ganun yan.
May kwento nga daw na isang magulang nagpunta sa school, no? Kasi parang binibigay mo report card, ganyan. Tapos, sabi sabi ng mga teacher sa parent, ito yung grade niya, ganyan. Tapos yung isang magulang, sabi niya, teka, hindi ako masyadong interesado sa grado niya. Gusto kong malaman, mabait ba siya? Marunong ba siyang makisama? Ganoon, di ba? Yun ang talagang mga skills and values na hinahanap ng magulang, which actually totoo yan na yun ang pinaka-importante. In the end, that's what you really need.
Nung kami, I was running as an informal school. Ang grading system namin, sabi ko, it's not only numerical. Sabi ko, gusto ko descriptive din. So, the teachers would have to write something, an observation about the child. So, nagkakaroon din ng enlightenment yung parent. Kasi minsan, hindi nakikita ng parent yung behavior ng bata. With the teacher or with the rest of the class. And sometimes also their attitude towards their studies. Kung medyo slacking
May sipag
off or medyo wala ng interest. And this may be traced to a problem. At home, they have a problem. So that's why they're manifesting certain symptoms.
Yeah. Strength of character nga, character building.
Yun, character building talaga.
But before, our grades in good manners and right conduct was numerical, hindi ba?
Yun nga
There is no
kailangan-
description.
Yeah, this is one thing, when I keep looking at my report
Dapat
card
yun ang
before, when I
stress
bring
nila.
my report card to my mom and go, pagdating sa conduct namumula.
Naku, naughty boy ka kasi.
Kasi naman, ano
Parang,
yun?
ay,
As a young
tapos,
person, pero hindi
tapos,
naman
alam niyo naman ang kuya ko. Yung kuya ko naman, complete opposite.
Oh,
Talagang siya yung nire-recruit na maging pare.
wow.
Tapos, talagang conduct
Kaya ba hindi ka
awarding.
naging pare?
Conduct awarding from grade school to high school. Conduct awarding, candidate for priesthood.
Siya
Wow.
ayaw i-recruit ng pare.
Kasi pagtingin ko sa quarterly report card, namumula na naman yung conduct ko.
Kasi, ano kaya masasabi natin?
Siguro
ang
nagka-wrinkles agad
ang
teachers.
lesson niyan, ang lesson ng story, ang bata, minsan, hindi natin ma-judge na ganyan yan lang throughout life na sabihin natin, yung conduct ay sabihin natin, or judgment natin, ay masamang tao yan. Naughty lang.
Kasi naman noon, para magsabing good conduct ka, tahimik ka lang, nakaupo ka lang. Meron mga batang talagang malikot sila, marami silang energy. Hindi lahat ng bata pwede nakaganon sa table, di ba? The whole time.
Pinractice ko yun.
Pinractice mo sir.
Meron ako mga practice na gano'n siguro.
Gano'ng katagal mo nagagawa?
Hindi ma-achieve.
Pero alam niyo bakit? Ay, fake. Kasi dapat yun,
Kasi ho siya, ang matataas na grado niya, yun sa mga physical education.
Tsaka technical.
Tsaka technical.
Pagdating sa academic,
Siyempre, iba ang bata.
kasi minsan bibigyan ka ng, okay, technical school kami. So, bata pa lang, may art class na. May art sa subject ng art na. Ako, pag tinitingnan mo yung mga katabi mong makaklase, ang gaganda naman ng mga drafting. Ano nila, ang lilinis. Pag tingin mo doon sa'yo, kaya mahihiya
Mahirap
kang
talaga mag-compare.
isasabit mo doon sa ano mo. So, pero, minsan, ang puntos dyan,
Ano nga puntos
may
natin?
puntos dyan huwag ididiin.
Everybody has their skills. Not
Kasi
everybody's good at drawing.
Kapag natingin sa'yo, ang tendency mo na lang yan. Pero, years later, I remember my art teachers di ba? Kasi, yung
Good memories.
creativity mo, nagamit mo sa iba.
Nabuhay rin.
Oh, you see, now I have,
Yung arts po niya napunta sa martial arts. Doon siya
Oo.
gumaling.
tapos, kita nyo, yung nagdi-design ka na ng, biglang nagtatayo ka na ng mga building na tatanong sa'yo, sino ang inyong arkitekto? Nako.
So, the point is now,
The point-
at ang mga bata natin, alagaan natin at i-appreciate natin kung ano yung kanilang galing.
Strengths.
Kasi iba-iba ho ang strengths ng
Right.
bata.
And your approach is, kasi they're individuals.
Yes. And just because they don't want to sit when you want them to sit, hindi ho ibig sabihin salbahe yung bata.
And sometimes, when you find a child, sometimes we steer your mindset that you have to, when you pray, it has to be like this.
Kailangan daw pag ganun.
You know?
Hindi, yung sa amin, hindi pwedeng nakaganon Dapat ganun pa.
Okay.
Hindi ba?
Tapos, you have to genuflect. You have to do so many things, no?
Yes.
Then, you can see that this is also molding, yeah.
Yeah,
It's part of
the
respect
discipline.
in the discipline. It goes beyond just saying, okay, it's just a ritual of what you do. Because if you see it differently, you see that it's helping discipline how I see things, my perception. Yet at the same time, it becomes difficult when there are certain things that hinders your growth inside. Kasi minsan, dapat ganito yung ritual natin. Kasi that takes away that personal relationship you have in your heart with the person who's with you constantly. You see, it's a personal thing. And a child has to be raised this way, that prayer is a personal thing.
Oo.
So,
hindi lang minemorize.
you don't memorize.
Hindi
it's-
ritualistic.
Yes.
No rituals.
So many of
It's
those.
not about religion as much as it is about spiritual
Yes.
life, spiritual
'cause-
relationship.
And then at the same time, when that's being felt, it the caring for others becomes spontaneous.
Oo.
So when you dwell on such situations, sometimes as a child, parang you want to see your creator as your special friend. Di ba? May ganyan eh. So this is something as parents, we need to nurture certain things to them.
So sir, kahit nung bata ka pa, talagang meron kang yung spiritual inclination na yung to relate with the God within, hindi ba?
No, that's why we pray individually.
Oo.
Kasi
That's what
yun naman
prayer is about,
tinuro
eh.
sa atin, di ba? That
Yeah.
we should pray to God. Pero, not just in church, not just when the teacher says, okay, it's time to pray, di ba?
Those are reminders for us, just so that before you start the subject, hindi ba tatayo kayo, you'll say a prayer.
Yeah.
Ah.
Before class.
So it becomes an offering, and the actions you're about to perform becomes an offering for
At
you.
saka sa gabi,
It's a service.
bago ka matulog, papasalamat ka.
Hmm.
Di ba? Or minsan, ipagdadasal mo yung best friend mo kung may sakit siya, or
Alright.
somebody you care about, no?
Yeah. So these are wonderful things to build the foundation of young people talaga.
Yes.
Because that they will carry throughout
Yes.
life.
Oo.
Hindi ba?
Yes, not
Talaga. Kasi
Uh,
life is not always easy, di ba? So sometimes you need to turn to the Lord in prayer for
Yeah.
guidance, for strength,
Yeah.
for clarity of mind. So never tayo alone.
So yung their future, yung kinabukasan, will only be as bright as what you also do to them when they're young.
yes,
Kumbaga,
how you nurtured them.
how you nurture them to meet all the challenges.
Yes,
no,
and
to
there will
the
be many,
difficulties,
huh?
the problems. So it is the nurturing that will, like the bamboo,
Yes.
if it's grown in a proper environment, will also be able to withstand the
Oo.
difficulties.
Maganda nga ang
Weather.
bamboo, no, as an example, kasi may strength siya, pero meron siyang flexibility.
Yes.
Tapos
Yes.
meron siyang, di ba, minsan nagbabaw din siya. Meron siyang, it's also used as a example of humility.
Yes.
No, although it's going up to the heavens, it also bows down
Mm-mm.
to where, parang giving respect to the earth from which she grew.
Yeah.
No? So, very interesting rin talaga na ang background natin ay bamboo, pero nakaka-contribute din siya sa ating conversation dito.
Alam nyo, hindi namin pinitirahan yan. Itim talaga yan, okay?
Natural. Black. At saka alam mo, there are many people who can play an important role in the nurturing. Of course, you have the parents. Of course, the teachers, no, in school.
Yes, oo.
There's so many teachers I remember na not just the subject that they would talk about, but
Oo.
also about Christianity, about values, ganon. And
Interpersonal relationships,
yeah,
being
you know,
open,
spend the time.
and not just
Oo.
measure another individual based on color and the
Yeah.
way he appears, the
Yes.
way he
Yeah.
talks, but actually
Yes.
see the person from within.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ngayon.
pinagdadasal po namin kayo mga teacher
Teachers,
dahil
meron
alam ko
tayong
challenging
mga
itong
friends.
ating
Oo,
Next
there are
school
many
year.
teachers. Oo.
Okay, alam nyo, balik tayo dito sa Kawayan. Ano? Kahapon kasi I had visitors who came. And they're very interesting people. Mga leaderships kasi sila, influencers. No? This fellow, he was responsible for, he donated almost 100,000 bamboos. Plants.
Wow, ang dami.
100,000.
Oo, saan napunta?
This was sa may mga pinatubo site kasi yung mga ilog nila kung saan nagpupunta yung tubig So nag-create siya ng mga barriers, no? Just so that maging distinct
pathway.
yung flow
Oo.
nung
Ang ganda naman ng
Saka,
project niya.
ma-stabilize niya yung slopes.
The banks.
Yung banks,
Oo.
yung mga embankment. Now, he asked me, when do I harvest the bamboo? At what time of their life? I said, it takes 4 years for a bamboo to be fully matured. That means, paglabas niya, meron siyang 3 generation na sumusunod na sa kanya. So, yung fourth, that's when they reaches the full maturity, tumitigas na sila ng husto. Okay, that's the time you harvest.
Oo.
Now,
Meron din time of year, di ba?
yeah, may
Na
time of the year
maganda.
too. Kasi yung may mga glucose, ano yan content. Kung masyadong tag-ulan, the glucose content is too high.
And what will happen kung ganoon?
Binubukbok.
I see.
Hindi natin
Ayun
pwedeng
pala.
i-harvest. Basta
So, after rainy
pagdating
season.
naman ng panahon between the Burr months, September to December, that's the best. Nagta-transition kasi yung kawayan. Tapos na rin yung kanyang lumalabas yung bagong shoots, nakataas na siya ng husto. Kumbaga na naka-form na yung mga katawan, huwag niyong gagalawin. Kasi the moment ginalaw niyo, may tampo. Okay, let the young poles grow to its fullest.
Maturity.
And then, at least yung height.
Oo.
Then you take out the grandmother or the great-grandma. You harvest it. That by then, Burr months na.
So you're not talking about harvesting the young, but the older one.
The older ones, if you're gonna harvest the pole, not the shoots.
Yes.
Kasi yung shoots, pabayaan yun.
That shows us na even sa kabataan, may timing din talaga.
Timing.
timing, when to harvest.
Right.
When to let them go, when to give them more responsibility, no?
And then they can
Maganda talagang
pass
analogy
on.
dito.
They can pass on what made the experience of the next 3 years
Older
of
generation.
the older generation passes it on. Pero hindi niya lang pinasa, ngunit kailangan ma-experience mo. Yun yung sinasabi. Pero binigyan na kita ng stabilidad to withstand whatever comes your way. But if you look at this bamboo here, strength in numbers ang tawag.
Tulong-tulong kasi
Strength in
sila.
numbers. Nice.
Para siyang isang malaking puno na nagsama-sama.
Yeah.
So
Yung
parang
mga
habang
dahon.
nandyan si grandmother and grandfather, ano pa rin sila? Parang sandalan na
Oo.
bata na lumalaki
Sila pa rin yung
lamang.
sandalan.
Kind of shelter
Oo,
also.
kaya aalamin
Support
niyan
pa rin sila.
na at the end of the day, kunyari, we have to get the offspring of this bamboo. Kunyari, nagputol na kami, no? We harvest it. Not all of the whole pole will be used. The shoots on top, the last 4 nodes, maliit na siya eh.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happens?
Yun ang aming tinatanim.
Pwede itanim yun. O kasi there's many ways to,
The nodes.
propagate.
Yun ang propagation nun. We don't get from the young shoots. We discourage harvesting the young shoots. Because what happens is, parang naging ano siya yung, batang nawalan ng,
So itatanim ulit siya malapit sa nanay at tatay.
Paano yung naglalabong? Kawawa naman.
hindi,
yung
yun nga,
harvest na
yun
shoot.
nilabong, hindi na matutuloy. Alam niyo, mangyayari niyan, ito yung huling
Parang ano na yan, aborted.
Oo. Alam niyo nangyari dito?
Bamboo.
Kasi naging kawayan na ng certain portions of this town or the province. And they did not. Kasi let's get the labong to sell.
Yeah. No.
Kasi iyan ang pinaka steady income ng tao na may bamboo. Dahil ang presyo ng labong is usually very steady, di ba?
But
So, some
saka
people
syempre, pagkain niya.
Like that as their
Yeah.
job.
No, it's actually healthy food. Pero ang puntos diyan, huwag naman taon-taon aanihin niyo yung labong.
But anyway, let's go back to people
Ang
na.
point doon kasi, pag inanin nyo, you know what? You disturb the cycle.
Right.
So in life, we have to understand this. Human life is a cycle. Everything in this world has a cycle.
May
Just as birth.
growth,
Yeah.
maturity.
So the timing is always crucial.
Right.
Okay.
You
So,
can't mess with those things.
don't miss.
Otherwise, we create problems.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yan.
Yan. So,
May
maganda
saying,
talaga we learn a lot from
naimas daw yung
nature.
ginatang labong.
Naimas, masarap siya.
Masarap sa
At
Ilocano.
masustansya rin.
Yes, we all know. Ako nga, itong variety na itong nasa likod natin, yan ang pinakamasarap na labong.
Oh, the black one?
Yeah.
Sabi nila, hindi ko pa natitikman.
Yung origin niya, yan ang isa.
Oo.
Kasi minsan, hindi nyo kailangan lutuin. Chop it,
may mga
Salt it only.
Oh, man.
You don't have to cook.
Different.
It's like salad. It's sweet daw.
Wow.
Pero,
Dapat matry natin one of these days.
sige, yung one pole kasi, yan, medyo, anyway, never mind nun. Sa ano
Yes,
na tayo eh. But
We're drifting
this thing,
somewhere.
we're talking about cycles.
Mhm.
Our life is like that in this world. It's temporary. But we remain the same. Eh?
Yeah.
See, this is,
Our
this is,
body is growing old. Pero
Yes.
inside, hindi tayo
We remain the
tumatanda.
same.
Oh, we're still young.
and we're still,
Young ones.
you know, what is our, ang question sa lahat eh, from the time a child is, you know, born until, kasi pag nakakita kayo ng baby, kahit 1.5 months pa lang eh, pag nakaka-relate na sa inyo eh,
Oo,
pwede mo nang,
ngingiti na.
pwede mo nang patawanin, di ba?
Oo.
May tawa na siya eh, kung may
Marunong na
expression ka,
mag-relate.
nahuhuli mo, di ba?
Oo.
Huhulihin mo yung expression ng bata, so masaya siya, happy.
Mm-mm.
So, by nature, it's not your body looking for happiness. Eh. It's you,
The one in the body.
right? So, from the time you're a child until the time you leave your body, that happiness, desire for happiness is always kumbaga, yun ang tinatreasure ko. I'm a happy
that's
person.
what you're
Eh.
seeking.
That's what we all
Oo.
seek, to be happy.
Yes.
Ngayon, even as we grow older, we should not relate to this condition that our body is becoming, you know, old, painful, and many of these things taking place. And minsan nag-accumulate yung problema sa inyong experience dito sa memory bank ninyo na minsan hindi nyo mabitaw-bitawan. Kasi may gano'n eh.
Let it go. Let it go.
Kaya when we talk about nurturing, the very essence of it, it has to do with we are by nature pleasure seekers. We're happy. We desire happiness.
And where does that happiness
Yun.
come from?
Yeah. So this is being nurtured in the child early on.
Yeah.
Born out of, kumbaga na, if you serve, you'll be happy.
Yan. Oo.
Okay?
Kailangan maaga pa lang matutunan ng
Matuto
bata.
na.
Mm-mm.
Kasi even as we grow older in our body only, remember, the body is just a tool,
Mm-mm.
right? It's just your tool. Eh.
Right. It's your vehicle.
It's your
Oo.
vehicle. But the body is not, who is seeking the pleasure? It's you. Eh. You're the one seeking the happiness. Eh. It's not naman your body. Eh.
Oo.
Hindi mo yung katawan. Pag iniwan mo yung katawan, nandiyan pa yung buong katawan. Oh, may, you know what I'm
Wala
saying?
naman
Ganun yun
na
eh.
doon yung tao.
So, you know, the nurturing nature of service early in a person's life, up to the last part of his life,
Mm-mm.
you can still be thinking in terms of how can I best be of service even in my last breath.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So when this nurturing of love begins, ano
Sa
yan?
kabataan
Sa
pa.
kabataan.
Oo.
Pero that goes to show also yung sinasabi mo that yung service, you can do it up to the end of your
Yeah.
life, no? That means it's not so much always physical na kailangan to be, for your life to be meaningful, that we have to do something, you know, parang productive in terms of society's demands, no? But even a person speaking, yung mga lolo, lola, even if their bodies are old, they can be sharing, they can be serving, and even, you know, doing something that is not physical, you know, but they
You know,
are actually
Being the example. No? Being the example of how to grow
benefiting
old.
others.
Yeah, how to grow old gracefully
Oo.
and how to leave your body
You li-
in the right consciousness.
Yeah, we can. Yes, kasi
Mm.
it's also part of the learning of the younger generation
Yes.
that just as I, as an older person, your grandfather or your uncle or your parent na is about to leave, if we have nurtured you out of love and service. In time, when you are already weak, unable to do things that you normally would do, but staying steady, you may be struggling with it, but a nurturing person, touched by this person about to leave his body, will easily, kumbaga, oh, wow, I owe this person so much.
Yeah, so yun
I
yung
will give
connection
support.
hanggang sa huli.
The connection is
Oo.
there.
And the person in the old body does not feel hopeless or depressed because
Yes.
parang ano na siya, he considers himself useless. No, there's
No.
always a purpose for your existence.
Every human life is as
Also,
valuable.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We
yung
all-
bata na pinalaki ni grandfather, ngayon, yung bata ang tutulong kay grandfather
Yeah.
habang siya
Grandmother.
grandfather, grandparent, no?
Okay, or son,
Yeah, while they are
daughter
on
to
their
parents,
deathbed,
ang dami eh.
they take care
Oh.
of you also.
Matatapos na tayo.
We
Let's
have to
let
read
nga.
the rest of our...
Yogi Padilla
Oh,
and then Clifford, good morning. Miguel Vargas again, good morning. And Steve, Lakbay Gulay, good
Yes,
morning.
magandang umaga.
Gopi, good morning. And Mike Rex,
Mike
good morning.
Rex, Miguel Vargas
Yeah.
again.
And then, okay,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
Eli, no?
We're almost done here. Thank you so
Thank
much
you also
for
for
always
your
coming
time.
and your time.
Spent with us this morning.
yeah, so,
Siguro,
ano
ngayon ba
natin?
pwede naman
Wrap up.
mag-hug ng child ngayon? Dapat, di ba?
Pwede,
Depende
basta
sa
ano,
inyong
safe.
status.
Hindi.
Oo.
Hindi naman lumalabas yung mga bata. Pero ang ano natin, you know, that we spend every day sharing, no, with the young and sharing with the old.
Hearing them out.
No?
Yes.
Hearing, listening, and also speaking, giving them our time and giving them whatever benefits that we are experiencing right now. You know. There's always kahit naman yung share ka lang ng flowers, share ng prayers,
Or
share ng
sometimes an
greetings,
experience.
you know. Yeah, there's so
Like
much to
did you-
give. So much to render service. Thank you very
Okay, maraming salamat. See you next week.
Everyone
Good
stay
morning.
healthy.
Stay safe. Alert 3 ang Pilipinas, so don't take it for granted that the COVID will not affect you so much because it's but it's
Pa-school, pumapasok na yung
Pero
Pasok
yung
yung
alert
mga
rate
bata.
that is in the US, right? They
Mm.
consider us alert already.
but they think kasi parang hindi tinataas masyado yung alert sa atin eh, but
Oo.
we still have to be careful.
Right. It's
Okay.
still spreading fast yung ating COVID. So, ingat tayong lahat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. See you next Saturday. Bye.
Pangkalusugan, pangkalikasan, go pa!